Hello, it's me again. I have played 3 builds this season. Um, Last one is gonna be Ghost Sentries, just to see how it's going and if it's still good. I've learned a few things, I mean not really. Only that Headhunter or Eternity in this game is kinda crazy for Ghost Sentries as well, especially for clear speed. Who would have thought? Never used it before. I will just do a quick SS20 and one map to showcase. Um, this character is extremely min-maxed. FE wise, investment wise. There's still a lot of things I could do, but there's just not really a point. I don't think I can necessarily die anywhere here unless I'm doing like a very big fuck up. Like I'm not really dodging too much. And it still doesn't kill me really. I will go over the build and other stuff after this. I mean there's one special thing I've done. I guess 2 things, because when I initially talked about this and when I said I will not play this, I wasn't sure which Vorex we will use, or I will use. The memory for Erika didn't seem too worth it actually, that's why I'm using a generic one. But yeah, as said, I will show it after this. And after the map as well, I guess. Not even gonna use culling. Doesn't matter. In general, the SS20 this season is like very easy compared to the previous seasons. I think this is like the easiest one we've ever had. I think they've only ever been SS21, these 3 bosses. This was even with multi-proj. Okay, whatever. I mean, damage cap anyway. This will be creation card farm. You need quite a lot of damage for this to make it feel smooth. Sure. Overall, I had a few issues early with. I started with Sage, chromatic shot, like 90% of all players seemingly, and I had a few issues with progressing to Profound actually. It took me like almost 2 days more than I expected, just kinda unfortunate. And then once I was in Profound, the Lunaria drops seemed very bad for having a level 6 Lunaria pet. I mean, it is what it is. The mechanic itself I really enjoyed. But the rewards didn't seem too great compared to like previous seasons. I don't remember like what all the items were in my other build actually, which I've showcased. I think I was also using the same core items. And I was talking about Magi stacking with the Burden Steps, but I'm not sure if I actually had the Burden Steps equipped. of course, 0 drops with this. Creation Engine is so fucking RNG, man. I don't even have my Headhunter on. Okay, this is without a Headhunter. I can show one map with a Headhunter after, show you the difference. Kinda exhausted from work, so just wanted to record this really quick before I go for a 4th build actually. Just testing things. I'll need to buy another one of these. Doesn't matter, just buy something. This will be a little faster. I really underappreciated the clear speed you get from having so much attack speed with the Eternity. I didn't think it would be that big of a difference. I normally had like 4-minute average on Creation Engine maps, and then with the Eternity it's like 2.5. Kinda crazy difference. So next season, I'm not sure if I will play Ghost Sentries actually next season. I will not play Sage. Learned my lesson. She's just a little too weak early in my opinion. But I will try to go for like an Eternity day 2 or day 3. The item is just so good, man. When I'm talking about the build after this map, there's obviously going to be some side notes to keep in mind if you want to play this in the next season. I will not really like I mean, if you look at the previous video, there you can see the progression from early Profound to like Deep Space, I guess. I tried to play the Sentries on tier 8 a little bit, but in my opinion you should still just go Thunder Spike until you can afford the necessary items. This was obviously a beautiful showcase of how good Creation Engine is, because you get absolutely nothing until you get something. Whatever. Helmet's still the same. It is significantly worse than last season, I would say, but getting the Timid for free is just so good. Blight, also nerfed, but it's still better than a rare chest. Don't get this too early, as I said in the previous video. You want to have some deterioration sources first. Gloves are the Nimbus gloves. Corruption on hit amulet. There's a reason I only get cold res because of the boots. That's why I get my ailment immunity. We convert everything to cold with enough Magi effect. Light Hunter belt or Eternity swap around depending on content. Here you get a base with Fizz as erosion. You don't want Timid on hit here. You want another Fizz as erosion. Here as a Vorex item I've went for Hasten as a base. I tried to get it on Verdant Steps in the implicit, but it removed my corrupted implicit unfortunately. And then I just get Dawnbreak. I couldn't really figure out another strong Vorex item. Weapon is just normal, full Fizz. Get the multi-strike damage here. Shield for max res, CC immunity, +1 quant. Here's the passive tree. This is think it's 1-to-1 the same one as before. Here I have an inverse. This inverse is really cheap and bad. You definitely want one with like 150% micro, and you need at least 58% medium. So this one is at least 38% deterioration chance, so you get exactly 100%. My build is currently lacking a lot of increased damage because I cannot take these. That's why you definitely want the micros. The last one isn't even really that important, honestly. I wouldn't care too much about these notes here. The +1 is nice. I mean, obviously they are like decent, but I'm a little bit annoyed I couldn't find a better inverse spot yet. Artisan, decent spot for the Phantasmagoria for a lot of origin effect. I opted into getting more origin effect for my memory, which you will see later. Here we're just going for the free Agi Blessing to proc our pet, and you get the mark. The rest of the tree isn't that important. Keep it up is really nice because you're generally overcapped on crit, especially with Eternity. Slates, Sentry Gale, as I said before, these are not really expensive. There's usually ones up at like 1 to 2k. This was a really good one that I sniped for like 1k, so don't go for this mod here. Usually you just get it on another slate. You have a lot of variety in here. You see I have most random ass stats here. I have my Paralyze here. You could get it from your module or Shadow Shot, depending which one you want to use, and then you just put a Garage in it. One Trauma Slate, we get wood from our tree here. I forgot to show it. Yeah, just generic stuff. You kinda need +1 Magi here for one of the supports from the Magi's. This one only needs 2, and you have base 2 as far as I know, but for this one you need 3. So I had to get a +1 since we're not in the Alchemist tree. This is the normal setup. Just whatever, you don't need 0.4. Anything under 1 second is probably fine. Here, this one you can swap for passivation or crit damage increased against single target. Here, just whatever you can get, right? These are not that important early. Just a good way for more damage scaling later on. Regular wild spike, just to apply some wild stacks here with the base wild damage and to give your skill some instruction. This is quite important. It's a 73% more damage. Just get aim here, and the modules quite overpowered, I would say. I only got this one for effectively 20 erosion pen. Mobs baseline have 30 resistance, so you set it from 30 to 10, so it's 20 pen and 45 prot speed. And the skill from the mob itself gives you 50% additional damage half the time, unless you get a support here that gives the mob 100% CDR, then you have perfect uptime, but they will die. My previous character tried it with the other support, but it was kinda annoying to keep them up. So I opted for this support, which makes them basically immune to damage. Thunder Magus, Frost Magus, Erosion Magus, and then Cruelty. No supports because with our hero memory over here, we let our Magi effect apply to Cruelty. Short side note here, you can see your global Magi effect if you go to a non-Magi skill and then scroll down here to Origin of Spirit Magus effect, 516, which means the Cruelty gets 516 aura effect, which means it's quite useless to give it any more supports. because we are quite energy starved in the first place because of this module. Memories is just whatever the fuck you can get, right? Approach speed, crit damage, they are quite expensive this season. Here I got this one with minus curse effect for quite free. Way cheaper than it would have been to even create a single one. That's cruelty. Bottom, top. What else do we have? I mean, nothing really, I think. As you can see, I only have cold res. Right, factory. If I would have gotten more star trails here in the setup, I would have gotten to 90 max res, but kinda done farming, if you know what I mean. Played a lot. I don't even have 9% Spirit Magi's here. This 2 max, so I would technically get another 1 max res, I guess. We get the other 2 Magi's here from the dual Kismets. Then Portrait, which is where you need the Agile Blessing on crit for to generate these stacks. Poisoned Omen for +1 curse, and Drapion Lady just for a little bit of Magi effect. But yeah, that's basically everything. These 4 items for this version are quite set in stone. If this still exists, as is, in the next season, I think you can just put this one in, get some Magi stuff, and fix your resistances elsewhere, and just do Magi stacking from the start with 1 aura. You don't need to go to Magi stacking only when you have Burden Steps. You can do it before already. Normally you would lack a lot of damage, but the memory would help a lot to alleviate that issue. Did I forget anything? I don't think so. It's basically everything set in stone here. I will put the build guide code that I've already created here in the description. Is this early? No, I think this is basically the same gear. As always, you don't need Sentry Gale here. You can also get Sentry Source and then put Gale on your belt. You have the chance to swap between those here. I think even Sentry is anointable here. Yeah, it's kinda cheap. Gale is 7/8, and then at this point Source is actually the cheapest because all these are dirt. Yeah, in my opinion, nothing really changed on this. It's really strong. If you get an Eternity, it's actually quite potent clearing wise. Damage is crazy. I'm 4th here. I think I could push to like 2nd, but first guy is not reachable at all, so I don't think you can get there with this setup. You need to do some other stuff maybe. Yeah. That's it from me. Maybe I'll do another video before the next season starts, after they announced it and gave us some patch notes, to tell you about changes I would make to this character. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.